I must say this must be the oddest game I've covered in this Viewers Game series of 139 videos. Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with number 139 in the series Viewers Games. If you would like your game to be analyzed on the Chess to Impress YouTube channel, you can send it to me by email to classroomchess64@gmail.com. It is the turn of Azor. I'm not sure what country Azor is from. His last name looks Spanish, so maybe it's not Azor but Azor. But I won't be able to keep up that pronunciation for very long, so I just call him Azor. I'm 33 years old. I started playing chess not so long ago. Well, I did know the moves. I was 8 years old for the first time I won against my father after just looking at him and his friend playing. My father got so angry and refused to ever play me again. So I really never engaged with chess. I had no one to play with, and after playing yourself about 100 times I lost interest. Me and my mother did play and we had very much fun. She wanted me to go to a chess school, but this was too late. And Lego took all of my time. I guess I lost interest in chess mainly because I just won over everyone I played. Once in a while I've heard that I'm very good, but I never thought of it until my father, some years ago, asked me for forgiveness for not playing more chess with me and interacting with me more as a child. So I started to play on Lichess. I don't like to sit and think forever. The games I play are mostly for fun. I know I won't be able to become a grandmaster so late in life, but I do enjoy playing. What you need is a sense of serenity. While having it, nothing can beat you. Yesterday I entered a bullet game versus a 2000 plus player. I won that game and several more. It was a tournament. My mind was at peace. Therefore I had patience to play good moves. Most of my games I'm too aggressive, wanting to checkmate my opponent in just a couple of moves. 99% of my games I make mistakes willingly, just to trap my opponent. This works 50% of the time. It's called cheesing a player in other esports. I've been a top 50 online StarCraft player. Chess, StarCraft and poker have a lot in common. Games I enjoy and can win when I really want to. I have followed your channel since I started playing chess in adult life. What I really enjoy is that you interact with your audience and you show many good games. Your content is equally good to others with a lot more subscribers. I hope your channel continues to grow even more. Best of luck and best of wishes, says Azor. Thank you very much, Azor, for this nice introduction. So we now know a little bit more, or actually a lot more about you. The game we're going to see was played on Lichess. It was a rapid game with 15 minutes for the whole game per player plus a 10-second increment per move. Azor had a rating of 1598 and goes under the name of Azor the Great on Lichess. Azor is not low on confidence and that's good. His opponent was called PKM6423 and had a rating of 1551, so quite similar ratings. Azor had the white pieces and opened with the e-pawn. e5 from his opponent and d4 from Azor. Azor is going at his opponent with the Danish gambit, as we'll see, sacrificing 2 pawns for a large advantage in development. Black took, c3, black took, and bishop c4, inviting black to take on b2 as well, and then bishop takes b2. White has sacrificed 2 pawns, but has a big advantage in development. 2 of his bishops are already on very nice diagonals, while black has everything still at home. But after bishop c4, black decided not to take on b2, he played bishop b4, a rare move. But there is a threat, and Azor falls for it. Here he should have played knight takes c3, and then the game goes on. But he played knight g1 to e2, and that move deserves probably 3 question marks. Because now black can take on b2, and now it's a lot more powerful because this is check. The bishop gives check to the king, the rook is hanging in the corner with promotion. Everything has gone horribly wrong for white. You have to deal with the check, so bishop d2 was played and then b takes a1 queen, winning a queen and a rook in one move. Azor took on b4. Well, it's not a full queen and a rook. He gets a bishop for it, which is of course not nearly enough. After 7 moves, white is completely lost. Queen e5 from black, re-centralizing the queen. Bishop c3 hitting the queen, and black takes on e4. You can take on g7, but then you lose the bishop on c4. Bishop takes h8, and then something like knight c6, and black is a ton of material up still. The only chance that white has is to play against black's king, because he still has his advantage in development. Azor played knight d2, hitting the queen again. Queen takes g2, rook g1, hitting the queen again. This is good play from Azor. He keeps harassing black's queen, which means black cannot develop. Queen takes, and knight f3, hitting the queen again. Queen d6, offering a trade of queens, but Azor is of course not going for that. He played queen b3. As said, black's only problem is that he has only played with his queen, and that Azor has now lined up bishop and queen against his king. It's clear that checkmate is Azor's only chance to win this game. Black has to do something about the f7 square, so knight h6, defending that square against this battery. But Azor plays rook takes g7, attacking f7 a third time. Queen 8 to e7, defends it a third time, but now Azor is attacking the f7 square for the 4th time. All of his pieces are looking at that weak f7 pawn. And that looks quite dangerous for black, but we should not forget that he is an awful lot of material up. So if he can simplify the position by giving back some material, then he should happily do that. Here rook f8 is a good move, just defending that pawn for the 4th time and hoping to be able to trade some pieces quickly, even if that will cost black some material. But knight c6 was black's choice, and now white can crash through on f7. Bishop takes f7 check. It's still okay for black, he's still winning. Knight takes, and this move is attacking one of black's queens, so you have to do something about that. A move like queen d2 e6 is very good. It saves the queen, it threatens to swap queens, and it's also threatening checkmate on e2. But black did not play queen d2 e6, he did not play another winning move. He made a blunder himself. He played knight d4, doubles question mark. Yes, it counterattacks white's queen, but black has missed that Azor can now take one of the black queens with check. And Azor did it. Knight takes d6 is check, so black does not have time to take the white queen on b3. And suddenly this turns things around. Black took on d6, and material-wise black is still a rook up, but white now has enough counterplay for a draw. Black's king is still very vulnerable, and his extra rook is looking on from a8. And it will be impossible for black to get this piece into the game to come to the aid of the king. Quite an amazing turnaround. Let's see what happened. Azor gave a check. It's almost checkmate. King d8 is the only move. Rook g8 check. Swaps a pair of rooks. King e7. Queen takes pawn. And king e8. White can now give a perpetual check, but still has to be careful. He played queen h8 check, and that's not the right way to go. The engine points out that queen h5 check should have been played, and then indeed white will get his perpetual check. After queen h8 check, which was played in the game, there is still queen f8, and black can get out of the perpetual check and can keep his hopes alive of maybe winning this game with his extra material. Black missed this chance, played king e7 instead, and now knight takes d4 from Azor. Here queen g6 is an engine move that maybe keeps some advantage for black. The engine says that eventually black will be able to untangle with b6, bishop b7, and then this rook can come into the game. But queen g6 is a very hard move to find, especially because it's the only move, according to the engine, that will give black some chances. In a position after knight takes d4, with the threat of knight f5, which would win the second queen that black had, black played queen a3, and this loses by force. It blunders a checkmate, but it was already very difficult for black fighting 3 white pieces with only the queen. Knight f5 check, king e6, queen f6 check, king d5, the white position plays itself. Here knight e3 check was played by Azor. He missed a quicker checkmate. The quickest checkmate here is queen e5 check instead. And if you go to c6, then there is knight d4 check, king b6 and mate on b5. If after queen e5 check you go to c4 instead with the king, then there is knight e3 check and also checkmate on the next move. As mentioned, knight e3 check was played here by Azor. It doesn't really matter, it just prolongs the game a little bit. King c5, queen d4 check, king c6 and queen d5 check from Azor. The king can only go to b6, knight c4 check, that actually wins the queen, but it's also checkmate. King a6, knight takes queen, and now b6 holds off the mate the longest. White can mate in 10 moves from here, but black chooses a quick death. Yes, you can take on a8, but then it will take another 9 moves to checkmate the black king. After knight takes a3, black played c6, and that decides the game on the spot with a checkmate move on a5. I must say this must be the oddest game I've covered in this Viewers Game series of 139 videos. Azor blundered half a box of pieces with his knight e2 move. It's not easy to blunder more material with one single move. But Azor continued like nothing had happened, was able to create counterplay against black's king, who didn't have many defenders around. Black quickly succumbed under the pressure by blundering a queen himself with knight takes d6 check. And then black's task was very difficult and proved too difficult. Thanks Azor for sending in this game. As I said, it was an odd game, but at the same time very entertaining, and that is what this series is about. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, that you will give it a thumbs up, that you will subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and that you'll leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.